Hey, today I'm gonna go ahead and try to sell AI sales systems live in front of you. I'm gonna walk you through everything from market research to building a list of prospects to writing compelling copy, all the way to generating interested leads in real time. In case you're first time here, my name is Saad. I build sales systems for a living. I've also scaled a sales system agency to 139K a month after getting banned on Upwork with over $2,000 frozen. So the way we're gonna do this is first, I'm gonna pick a niche and I'm gonna go for a cybersecurity niche. So cyber security. In terms of company size, I'm gonna go for 21 to 200 because you do not want to go from 0 to 10. Usually they're broke. They can't pay you. And you can't go for plus 200 because usually they are enterprise, so they already have their own internal systems. So we're going to go for the sweet spot, which is going to be 21 to 200, okay? So we're going to pick the cybersecurity niche. We're going to go for 21 to 200. And in terms of the personas, which is basically the job titles that we're going to have to target, since I'm going for cybersecurity, it's going to be technical roles. So essentially, it's going to be either the head of security or the security engineer. So head of security or security manager. Now you might be wondering, Saad, well, why didn't you just go for the founder or like the managing partners or like VP of sales? Well, let me explain. See, when you're targeting the cybersecurity, the head of security is going to be your big dog. See, when you go for the cybersecurity niche, especially 21 to 200, the head of security is going to be kind of like the mini Cisco, the chief security boss. They're the ones who decide what tools should we buy, what kind of vendors should we trust. So if they say yes, the deal is done. Now, in terms of the security manager, they're basically the ones that are in the trenches fixing all the app security. They feel the pain of fixing vulnerabilities every single day. So if you win them over, well, they're going to take you to the head of security, which is basically the boss. And they're going to be like, hey, boss, we need this, right? So that's how you climb up to the decision maker. Okay. So now we have a niche. This is the market research. As you guys can see, it took us 5 minutes. I highly recommend you guys do not fall into the market research analysis paralysis because that's how you never win. Okay. So pick a niche, which is cybersecurity. As always, the two main things that I always say, there's no such thing such as a perfect niche. We just picked the cybersecurity. Okay. The reason why I picked this because they rely on referrals. Well, every company relies on referrals, but there are some industries that rely heavily on referrals, such as cybersecurity. But again, it's not a perfect niche because there's no such thing as a perfect niche. There's no such thing as a perfect niche, and there's no such thing as a saturated market. The only thing that's saturated is the offer. And are you actually solving a real business problem and not selling bullshit AI proposal generators or all these crazy AI infrastructure that people don't want and can't afford, or businesses don't want and businesses can't afford. Okay, so this is the niche, the employees, the personas or the job titles that we're going to be going for. Now, how do we build a list? I'm simply going to go to exa.ai. Okay, so I'm not going to go for Apollo because I'm simply going to gather a list of 500 to 600 leads. I'm not going to go crazy because there's no reason for me to do it. Whenever you start a sales campaign, you do not want to blast everybody. You want to basically pick a vertical and then go ahead and test that vertical. The best way to test that vertical is by picking a sample list, okay? So 500 to 600 is exactly what I'm going to be doing, okay? Another big reason why I just went for 500 to 600 leads is because think about it like you're just entering the market. You're just interfering with the market, okay? You just want to test the waters, right? So imagine you are a traveler, okay? On your journey to become rich and you encounter a village. Well, the first thing you have to do is just simply talk to a few people before you try to sell them anything, okay? You try to ask them, okay, are you guys actually feeling this pain? And if there's demand, now you just go ahead and solve it. That's literally it, okay? So I'm simply going to go to websites and I'm going to go ahead and build a list. So I'm going to go to companies. By the way, Exa.ai is basically like a web crawler that uses AI to scrape the entire internet for you and allow you to get access to thousands of companies, leads, research papers, people, LinkedIn profile, anything that you want, okay? So I'm simply going to type in cyber security companies in the USA, 21 to 200, that build the secure apps I think that's pretty much it. So I'm simply going to click on enter. Okay, 100 for now, and I'm going to keep increasing as I go. So Exa.ai is going to give me basically the companies that I want. So as you guys can see, initializing. So company operates in the cybersecurity sector. Company has between 21 to 200, provides products or services focused on application security. Okay, so it's going to try to find these companies. And if it's a match, it's going to output match. If it's not, it's going to output miss or unknown. So there we go. We just found 3. Okay. So blue setter. So the only thing we have to do now is simply just wait a little bit while this is scraping all the leaves for us. But in the meantime, you can also click on add column, add enrichment. And what do I want? Well, I want head of security, security manager. Okay. Head of security or security engineer. Output 1. Create and run all rows. I'm also going to add another enrichment. Services they provide. Identify the types of services provided by the company. Run all rows. All right, we gathered the data. So now I'm simply going to click on download. That's how easy it is to export data from Exa. So download. And then I'm going to go to sheets.new. I'm going to import my list here. And I'm going to do some data cleanup, probably in Make. And then I'm going to transition everything into like n8n. So I'm going to click on File, Import, and then go to Upload. Put this here. And then import location append. And then I'm going to make everything as this font right here, Geese. I love Geese. And then I'm going to bolden this up. So description, I'm going to leave the description. So the cool part about Exa also gives you the reasoning. So operates in cybersecurity sector, reasoning. So Reg Security Technology Inc. operates in the cybersecurity sector as evidenced by multiple factors, the company homepage. So essentially how it works is they have like an AI agent that crawls the web, not like those typical AI agents, those crappy AI agents that you see creators actually build, but actual real AI agents powered by AI intelligence funded by millions of dollars, okay? That actually move the needle. So I'm simply gonna delete this. I'm gonna clean this up by resizing the rows. There we go. And there we go. Now it's done. This one too. And there we go. Awesome. So I need to perform some data cleanup. So I'm just going to use make for this. Very easy. So this is the head of security or persona. So persona. Okay. And I'm going to clean this up. Very easy. I'm going to go to make, create a new scenario. And let's just name this phase 1, for example, phase 1 cleanup. I'm going to make, look for sheets, search rows. And then I'm going to go to spreadsheet ID. I'm going to look for phase. This is not the account, so this is the one. Spreadsheet ID. Phase 1, cleanup. Sheet name is going to be sheet 1 because it's sheet 1 right here. And then go back. Limit, just put 1. Going to have to refresh. Okay, save. Run once. All right. So now what I'm going to do, if you're wondering why we're doing this persona cleanup, because we have sometimes like Exa just outputs the LinkedIn. So we're just going to have to only leave the full names, okay? If it's not a full name, we're simply just going to discard it. So I'm going to go to Azure. I'm just going to use Azure. You can use any AI model that you want. So create a prompt, have like a higher rate limit here. So GPT 4.0, add message, user, content is going to be text. So clean the full name in persona, return only the full name. If no full name, return no full name. Example, Robert. So Robert Chen. So this is basically like an example, Robert Chen. The best way to train an AI model is just give it like an example of the initial list or the initial data. Example, Robert Chen, results, Robert Chen. And then we're going to feed in another example here. Irina. Actually, we're going to copy this LinkedIn. Result, no full name. Okay, now I'm going to update the row. So sheets, update row. And then the spreadsheet ID is going to be, again, the phase 1. Cleanup. Sheet name is going to be 1. The row number is going to be a row number. And then the name is going to be the text response. So let's check this out. So obviously 1 is clean. Actually, we need, okay, output. We need to add another instruction here. Output the full name only with no additional text. Okay, sweet. So now let's run this at everything. Very quick, because I have like a good API. So as you guys can see, if no full name, like here, we're going to see no full name. There we go. So no full name here because it was a LinkedIn. All right. So 56. Sweet. So now we have a clean name. All right. Awesome. So we're just going to wait a little bit. Okay, so now it's going in. As you guys can see, it's very quick using Azure. Okay, sweet. So we have the persona cleaned. Now we need email. So we need to find the email of that person right here, all these personas. So the way we're going to find the email is we're simply going to feed in the URL plus the full name. There's multiple ways to find the email. There's an email finder, there's Scrape, there's Hunter, etc. But in my case, I'm going to use my own enrichment platform, which is going to be the Command Center, which is this one, which is basically like a platform that we built specifically for the community. You can use this API key that I'm going to leave you in the resource down below, so you can basically follow along as I go. Okay, it only has 500 credits. So yeah. So this platform is going to be paid elsewhere and free for people in SSM, which is basically the community that I run. Okay, so the one that I want is going to be email finder. So this is the endpoint, copy. So make a request, HTTP, and then the method is going to be post because the method is post. So authorization is going to be in headers, and put the API key here. Look at this cool animation that we just added. So if you're using n8n, etc., you can simply just show you like exactly how you can use it, like a child could understand. So body type is going to be raw, and content type is going to be JSON. So company, actually it's full name, and then the full name is going to be persona, and then company website is going to be the website. And before I actually proceed, I need to add a filter here. So filter persona by blanks and no full name. Okay. All right. Now I clean this up. All right. Let me just run this module only again. Okay, sweet. I have everything that I need, and I'm gonna parse the response, and then let me try one and see. Let's see if we're gonna find the email. Obviously, there's like a 50% chance. So accept it. So we found the email. All right, so it's gonna be find email. All right, and then update again. So update a row. So there we go. I'm simply gonna do the same thing. So phase 1, cleanup. All right, sheet 1. The row number is gonna be row number, and then email is gonna be email. So data, email here, and then condition, email actually exists. So if I run once now, you will see that I'm gonna add the email here. There we go. So I'm just gonna run the entire flow, right? So I'm simply gonna remove this limit and run the entire thing. Okay, so we just finished everything. The whole process took us like 15 minutes, including the research, the lead scraping, also cleaning up the data because we used our in-house tools. Very easy, straightforward, crazy fast. This is what I like to call the flash. So now what do? Well, we have the emails, we have the personas. Well, now we need to generate some sort of like personalized copy. Now, let's go back to our playground here. As you guys can see, the persona that we picked is extremely smart. Reason why is because, think about it, the head of security, like I said, is the boss, like the Cisco boss, right? Now, the security manager is a security manager. They are in the trenches, just like I said. They help. They're the ones who actually fix vulnerabilities. So if we reach out to them, well, they're going to forward us to the head of security because it's literally their boss, right? So see how the thought process is? Makes sense, right? So now what do? Well, like I said, we need to generate some sort of copy. Now here's the copy that we're going to be using. And this copy I know is going to crush it. Okay, so here's the copywriting. So we're going to say, hey, first name. First name is basically the name of the lead. Notice your site or notice on your site that you offer services, okay? Which is the reason why we included an EXA services that they provide. Awesome. Now, I'm connected with several ICP role that need services they provide. Services that they provide is basically the services that they provide. ICP role is essentially the ideal customer profile role, which is the job title or role of the people they sell to. Okay, now the reason why this copy is 10 out of 10 or this template is 10 out of 10 because it literally means, hey, I've got what you need. Do you want it? Notice on your site that you offer service. I'm connected with several ICP role that needs your service. Thought I'd ask, are these intros helpful? Literally, that's it, right? So it's kind of like coming to someone and say, hey, I have what you want. Do you want it? Literally it, okay? Now, this copy is inspired by a member in the community. He actually used this template and he's closing deals left and right. So we're just going to use it. So now I'm going to show you guys how to turn this template into high quality emails that you can just plug and play using something called constrained variables. So I want you to really pay attention to this. Okay. So now we're going to go to n8n and then we're going to ditch make, by make. And then what we're going to do is click on this plus button. Now, in order for us to manipulate Google Sheets, it's very annoying in n8n. You can't really just manipulate sheets however you want. You can't just retrieve one record, like generate one personalization or one copy and then see how it looks. It's very annoying. You need to retrieve all the records. Now, let's say you have 5,000 leads or like a list with like 10,000 leads. Well, you're forced to retrieve 10,000 leads. You can't just get 1 or 2 or 3 or 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my own endpoints. Again, same thing. Which is the beauty about having your own endpoints. So I'm just going to go to Google Sheets, which is this one. Google Sheets Reader. Again, this key that I left you and the resource down below, it has 500 credits. So I'm simply going to go to HTTP And then URL is going to be the URL. Authentication is going to be send headers. Authorization along with the API key. Put it here. And then we're going to go to send query parameters. Go back here. And this is the query parameter. So sheets URL. So sheets URL and the value is going to be the URL. So make sure you click on share. General access. Anyone with the link can be an editor. Yeah, editor. And then simply copy this link. Now we can literally put it right here in n8n. And then we're going to add another query parameter, which is going to be tab, which is the name of the sheet. So in my case, it's sheet 1. So sheet 1. Now check this out. If I execute the step, I'm going to get all the records that I have. So 321 items. Now let's say I only want to retrieve just one and test the system. So I'm going to click on add parameter, limit equal 1. Look at the magic. Boom, I just got 1. Okay, I just want 1. I want to manipulate the data however I want, and then I can run the entire system end to end. So this is the beauty about the command center or our own SaaS. So I'm just going to name this get leads. Okay. Now I have the emails, I have the personas. Well, I'm simply going to use an AI model that's going to help me generate the copy. So I'm just going to add an LLM, basic LLM chain, and define below. So I'm going to say generate a statement. So I want you to really pay attention to this. This is called the anti-fragile method. TLDR is essentially a way to generate high quality copies that don't feel like AI, feels one-on-one, which is essentially like my brand. Like, because everybody knows that Saad writes copies that feel like crazy human, right? Which is exactly how my clients like call me, like the person who writes emails that feel one-on-one. So this is called the anti-fragile method. How it works is I came up with it when I noticed that AI is very bad at writing icebreakers, personalization, and typically all these gurus that you guys watch, they generate some like very, very bad personalization, like notice your hair transplant or notice you drink San Pellegrino. That's crazy, me too. That's, like, cut that out. Like, these gurus are just teaching the wrong way to do it, okay? But I'm here to show you the anti-fragile method. What you need to do is pick a specific ideal customer and try to write them an email, like handwritten, specifically for them. And that email has to hit the pain points, has a clear offer, clear value proposition, everything. And then you turn it into a template with constrained variables. And step 2, just feed in the data, just like what we have here. Service that they provide, etc., company description to AI, and AI is going to fill those variables from the template. Very simple, right? So generate a statement similar to, and then let's just go to a Google Docs and literally let's just get down into it. So I'm simply going to copy this entire thing. Paste it here. So, hey, first name. Okay. Well, this is the template that we're using. This is the one, template. Okay. Now let's turn this into a dream email. So dream email. So what we're going to do is notice on your site that you offer, for example, let me think, application security testing and compliance services. I am connected with several, what would be the ICP that they want to talk to? That's an example of the cybersecurity niche. So I'm connected with several heads of security that need help securing their web apps and passing compliance audits. Very simple. So now we're going to have to copy this and check the magic. So generate a statement similar to example, perfect output will be the perfect output. Boom. And paste it here. And then now just feed in the data that you have. This is what I mean by good personalization, not this bullshit that people just trying to generate. And it pains me that when I see people actually try to like have a good copy, have a good personalization in their outreach, and they just copied what other gurus in the space just spit out. So services they provide. There we go. I'm going to add the results here. And then reasoning again. Okay, now check this out. I'm going to connect an AI model. I'm just going to use Entropic. By the way, you can use any AI model that you want, right? I'm just using Entropic. And then I'm going to use 0.3.7. In terms of the sampling temperature, just 0.3. I want it to be super casual. So let's just execute and check this out. Notice on your site, let's make this a JSON. Notice on your site that you offer automated penetration system and AI-driven security validation services. I'm connected with several CSOs and security directors that need continuous vulnerability assessments and multiple security testing to meet compliance requirements. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to avoid jargon, 10 words max. Okay, sweet. So this is going to be personalization. And now I'm simply going to add this to a sheet. So I'm simply going to go to Google Sheets and I'm going to update the sheet. So I'm going to go to update row in a sheet and then create a new credential. I'm just going to sign in with Google. Continue. There we go. And then I'm going to go to from list, phase 1 cleanup, sheet 1. And I'm going to go to get leads and then is going to be row number. So the row number is row number here. And then we need to add another column here. Let's name this anti-fragile. Let me refresh. Okay. Anti-fragile is gonna be the personalization. So execute. Okay, sweet. So now let me just run the entire thing by removing this limit, and then I'm gonna execute the flow. So once that's finished, we're gonna see that it's gonna be populated here. All right, done. So we just finished the anti-fragile method, which is basically the personalization. If I go back to my n8n, there we go, took us like 5 minutes. So update row in a sheet. I'm simply gonna save this so I can leave in the resource. You're gonna find the phase 1, which is basically the cleanup and make. Obviously, you can just transition that into n8n. It's the only thing you have to do is basically just the personalization is gonna be just the prompt and make in Azure, and that's pretty much it. Okay. So let me close all these tabs for you so you don't get overwhelmed. Now I have everything. I have the email, the anti-fragile method, the persona. Well, simply I'm going to launch the campaign live. I'm going to go to File, Download. Actually, before I do this, I need the first name. I always forget about it whenever I'm recording these. So I need the first name. So write, and it's going to be first name. And I'm simply going to go to Claude. And I'm going to say, first, I'm going to take a screenshot. I'm going to go to Claude, Control V, and I'm going to say, let me delete this one, generate a sheets formula to get the first name from persona. So this is the formula. I'm just going to paste it here, and then boom, autofill. By the way, always make sure to duplicate the lists, because then instantly they're not gonna notice, they're not gonna see the actual first name. Control C and paste this here, and then we can just delete this one. Okay, so let me just resize again, and there we go. I got the first name. Right. So now I'm going to close this Claude tab and I'm going to go to Instantly. Instantly is basically going to be my cold email software of choice. I highly recommend you guys use Instantly. There's another one that's called Plus Vibe. Really good too. Cheaper, right? But Instantly is the one that I use. So I'm just going to use Instantly, login, and then I'm going to create a new campaign. I have a couple ones here. I'm just going to delete this. There we go. And then add new. I'm simply going to name this campaign live. For example, cyber. Fun fact, when I was a kid, I was obsessed with cybersecurity. Well, not security, hacking. Can't believe I'm saying this now. But, okay, so now I'm just going to go to File, Download, CSV, go to Leads, Add Leads, CSV. And you're going to notice that even at 300 leads, I'm going to generate some interested replies. At this point, I can just predict if the copy is going to do well. Okay, so persona, no. First name, yes. Email, anti-fragile is going to be personalization. And all of these things do not import. Okay. So I'm going to click on upload. All right. So, hey, first name, which is the guy. Hey, Nash. And then I'm going to add the personalization. See how we basically build the cake, which is the copy. Notice on your side they offer automated penetration testing. I'm connected to several CTOs that need help identifying web app vulnerabilities before hackers do. See? Okay. Thought I'd ask. Are these intros helpful? Happy to connect you if it's fit. That's literally it. It's not rocket science. Actually, I'm going to add another new line. In terms of subject line, I'm going to do referrals for first name. That's it. Okay. In terms of the ad step, this is the follow-up. I'm just going to go to a course that I just recorded, which is the connector angle, which is going to be this one. And I'm simply going to copy some of the follow-up so I don't have to rewrite them again. Yeah, this is the one. So hey, first name. And then this is the one. Copy. Cheers. Save. Add step. This is the one. Gonna add hey, first name again. Happy to keep you posted. Totally understand if it's not the right time. If it's something you might revisit later, I can still queue up the intro, circle back down the line. Thanks for the time. There we go. And then I'm simply going to close these tabs and save this again. Okay, schedule is going to be 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Also Saturday. And then I'm going to go to options. Going to use all these emails. This is my favorite part, is doing this. Okay. Enable provider matching, which is going to be ESP. So ESP Google, send to Google. And then Microsoft, send to Microsoft. And then Microsoft, send to all. And then I'm simply going to click on launch, publish. So now the only thing we have to do is just wait a little bit as we're going to get the replies. Okay, so this is a couple hours in the future. We received 3 positive replies in one day and 1 out of office. So we have referrals for Robert. This is the initial email. Hey, Robert, noticed on your site you offer automated penetration testing services. I'm connected with several CSOs that need continuous application security validation. Thought it asks, are these intros helpful? This guy literally said, sure, what's your availability this week? Wow. The second one is an out of office, and this is the second positive reply. This guy literally said, hey Saad, I would love to speak. Are you available tomorrow 10 a.m. CST? And this is the initial email. Check this out. So this is the initial email, and he replied like within like 30 seconds, which is absolutely insane. Now let's look at the third reply. Referrals for Arena. Hello, Saad. I appreciate your enthusiasm in reaching out. However, we're currently evaluating our priorities and resources. That said, I can see how this introduction might be useful. I'd be open to learning more about the IT directors connected with. Best regards, Irina. So this is the initial email. So as you guys can see, we've generated 3 positive replies, 3 leads within a day, which is absolutely insane. Now, since these are interested replies, well, what can I do? Well, I can essentially just look at their websites and try to find companies that are similar in the same vertical. So Testmatic. So this is the company. I can literally copy this, go to ChatGPT, and I'm going to say, here is a scraped data of an interested lead that replied positively in my campaign, retrieve the exact vertical they are in so I can target similar companies. So they provide outsourced software testing services. So there we go. Just found a hidden niche. To be fair, I don't know what outsourced software services is, or software testing services. I never knew this niche existed. So this is how you found those like hidden, like untapped niche. Like who the hell knows about outsourced software testing services? So this is their ideal audience to tech companies, SaaS providers, etc. So I can literally go and reply to this lady, and I can literally go ahead and say, hey, I have an idea to target independent QA providers, software testing consultancies, quality engineer firms, companies offering QA outsourcing, and I would literally close them on a call. There we go. That's how easy it is. So there we go, guys. We did everything end to end. We generated leads, etc. So the only thing you have to do right now is just literally get out there, take action. I believe in you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.